Hey everyone, thanks again for joining me on this very special. I'm already laughing. Me and Dr. Dan here, we're quite the cut up, so it's going to be a good show. But anywho, thanks for joining me on the Lyme Boss podcast. I am Heather Gray, aka the Lyme Boss. I help frustrated professionals with their digestive issues, their brain fog, and their chronic pain. Could it be Lyme? It was with me. Let's dig a little deeper and look for that root cause. But my guest today, Dr. Dan, the man, he's all about, we're going to be talking about the three key factors to preventing a heart attack. And he's got quite the amazing story and just a plethora of beautiful knowledge. So I can't wait to dive in deeper with Dr. Dan here. So would you welcome, thank you for joining us today. Yay!
Heather, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for joining me on. So for everybody's listening, we did have a podcast before the podcast. And we were talking. Heather and I are friends, and it's always great catching up with Heather. Thank you, Heather.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, so tell us a little bit about your background. What got you into being a chiropractor, and how did you why the heart stuff? Why is that so important to you? I found that the majority of us that are in this industry, we have a background story of what led us and why we do what we do, right? Because this is a really tough market and niche to be in, and a lot of us have that skin in the game of really being driven to want to help people because of our own personal story. Can you dive a little deep into what got you where you're at?
That's a great question, and thank you for asking that. I'm by trade, I'm a chiropractor. I've been practicing for 33 years, and my practice is I got into chiropractic because I was very athletic when I was younger, still athletic, and I had a lot of injuries as time went on. Back in the days when I had played football and baseball and basketball, the equipment wasn't so advanced. And so our knees and our shoulders and concussions and all of that were very commonplace, back problems. And I went the medical route, and, I'm popping different types of pills and so forth just to mask the pain. And I went to go see a chiropractor, and the chiropractor, I didn't know what a chiropractor was. My first chiropractor was in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I grew up in Bloomfield, Newark, New Jersey. And, he had an Italian last name. And so we walked in and we became good friends. And he helped me out significantly. And I was able to play sports, and I was able to train, and I was very happy. As time went on, he and I separated because he had retired. And I met another chiropractor. And I was going into medical school at that time, and he took me away from med school, Dr. Dick Santucci, and he showed me what chiropractic is. I fell in love with it, and I loved being a chiropractor. And I opened up offices, and I had offices in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and it was very stressful. HMOs hit, and I realized that my lifestyle was really poor during that time. And I remember that I was eating poorly. I was not exercising, and I gained a lot of weight. I went from 200 pounds to about 265 pounds. I was big. And I remember having difficulties just walking and just doing things, just any type of physical activity. And when I was about 37 years old, I had a heart attack. 37.
Wow. 37.
I was told I was going to die. I didn't want to die, and I didn't want to leave this earth. I wanted to live a full life. And I made that decision to live that full life. After my heart attack, I felt like a ticking time bomb. You never know when you're going to go off. You never know what's going to happen. Ultimately, my lifestyle brought me to this. My triglycerides were 1,227. My cholesterol was around 600.
Oh,
and the LDLs weren't calculable at all. And this is where I found my second calling in life. We were serving at a very high level when I was a chiropractor. We were serving a lot of people. We were having a great time. And when I had this heart attack, it was my second calling. And I decided after going the medical route, which I was taking a bunch of medications, Heather, which I agreed with because my lipids were so high. I mean, the cardiologist said to me, you don't live with these numbers. These are not livable numbers. So the heart attack actually saved my life. And I went to a nutritionist, a good friend of mine, Dr. Tom Bilella. He's a chiropractor. And we did some interesting blood work, and I didn't understand it at that time. And I was losing weight. I was taking nutrition shakes. I was taking different types of supplements and was losing weight. And before that, I went to my primary care, and he had rudimentary knowledge of nutrition. He gave me a B vitamin to bring down the homocysteine. He said, eat right, but that was it. There was no specificity. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was in his office, it was magical to me. It was magical. It felt right. It felt like this is where I belonged. And, and I was in one of the consultations. It was towards the end, and he was like, wow, he goes, you're doing really well on this program. And I'm looking at him, and he said, what's up? He goes, this is just incredible. I said, he goes, what I want you to do is I want you to apply, and I want you to go for a master's in nutrition because you're going to do this now. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't see him for almost 3 years, believe it or not. I walked into his office like, what happened? Where'd you go? We would text every now and again. I said, I got my master's. Now I teach it at UB, University of Bridgeport. I was just added another course, by the way. So that's great. And what's happening is that I fell in love with this. And I fell in love with helping those out, those individuals, those high-driven individuals who happen to have heart disease or going towards that heart disease leading up to a heart attack. Because what you and I do is very effective. And it's really incredible how we can take those individuals and we can find the root cause and we can help them out. So that's my background story. Crazy, right?
That's absolutely, that is crazy, a heart attack at 37. And it never ceases to amaze me, people who are in the medical world, especially chiropractors. I loved chiropractors. I wanted to go to chiropractic school at one point, but there was not one in Colorado. And my kid was young and I wasn't willing to leave. But it's shocking to me, like all the different chiropractors offices I worked in and how many of them are eating these inflammatory, like crap, they bring in the pizza and they had the cake to celebrate their yearly anniversary. And I was working part-time after just graduating as an FDN, taking up office space, and my head would just explode. I'm like, what you guys are doing philosophically wise is beautiful, manipulating the body and getting the electrical system back up and working. Like, why are you not focusing on nutrition and what you put in your mouth?
That's exactly what happened to me, because in the offices, they were busy. And so we had kitchens, we would have lunch, we would eat pizza, we would have Chinese food, fast foods. There was the deli, the Connecticut office. Boy, there was this great deli that had corn chowder. Oh boy. And if you had a sandwich, or as we say in New Jersey, a sandwich, it was like filled with whatever you want it to be filled with. And it was great and it was delicious, but it started to put on the pounds. And as time goes on, when you eat these ultra processed foods, they're highly palatable, they're readily available, and they're affordable. All of these are bulls that they are. And, you're traveling, so you can get a McGriddle sandwich or something like that for breakfast, and you're eating that. Oh yeah, I'm going to stop it. It doesn't, because once you start going, it's very difficult to come off of that until an event has. I like to get patients in before the event happens. Difficult, but I'm getting them in after, but I like to get them in beforehand. And what we do is just so effective in helping people with Lyme disease and heart disease. And I have no restrictions on anything that I do. I'm running in a half marathon coming up in the next 3 to 5 months. We're looking at it. I'm going on stage for a bodybuilding show. I'm cutting right now. Now I'm beginning to, bulk up on some muscle. And, you don't have to feel like that ticking time bomb, like I said, and you can live your life to the fullest. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
I- And I'm sorry, how old are you now?
21, no, 61 years old.
So 61,
I
and he's
feel,
getting ready to go on a bodybuilding stage. Like, that's amazing.
you know what? I'm not stopping. We have in the office guest Dr. Dan's age, with new employees. It's anywhere between 35 to 42. So it doesn't, where am I? Here I am.
I'm like, oh no, I offended him by asking how old he was.
Yeah, right. So I was talking to somebody last night, and it's just a number. I got 3 miles on the books today that I'm going to do. Then there's a chest and back and ab workout. So you don't have to stop living your life. I'm excited about rock climbing right now. May come to Colorado and may do some rock climbing. I'm excited about getting my pilot's license. I had started it.
Ooh,
I
fun.
want to experience life. My son is 15, as you know, but very well know. He plays hockey at a high level, and just want to be able to train with him and be with him and experience that, right? Experience that he has with him. And you can. Doesn't mean that you hit a certain age, you're in your 50s, even 40s or 60s, doesn't mean that life is over. It's just beginning. It's just beginning. There's no limits to what you can do with the human body.
Amen to that. Actually, that's a
Yep.
phenomenal spot to take a pause for a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll dig into the 3 key factors to preventing a heart attack. Stay tuned.
All health begins in the mouth. And some of the best products out there for your best oral health care is Primal Life Organics. Their tooth powder, their gum drops, their tongue scraper, their electric sonic toothbrush, all of it. And they've even got a kit that's got your whole mouth regime, AM and PM, all in one easy to use kit. I highly, highly recommend it. Oh, and it's got an awesome little red light to help with gums. Most folks with Lyme disease and chronic health have got issues, infections in their gums, in their mouth, and they've got really bad teeth. I've spent over $10,000 fixing my teeth from the years of issues with cavitations and cavities, being a mouth breather, so many things. So everybody says that your immune system starts in your gut. It actually starts with your mouth. So make sure you get your mouth nice and healthy and start with Primal Life Organics. Make sure to go to my website, thelionboss.com, go to the resource section and get yours today.
Sorry, everybody. Welcome back. Let's dive into the 3 key factors to preventing a heart disease, because prevention is everything. It is so much harder to turn that ship around when it's already going the wrong direction. Prevention, like, I swear, I wish I could get 20-year-olds to understand and hear, the messages that we're saying right now. But sadly, most of us can't hear it until we get into our mid-30s. And
Right.
you were 37 when you had your heart attack. So who knew if any of this would have been planted in your 30s, if you might have been able to, course correct at that time, who knows?
Correct.
But we're going to sit there and try as hard as we can. So let's dive into some of those key factors to preventing a heart attack.
Oh boy, I have so many, but let's get into 3. Number 1 is your nutrition. Okay. You have to have good nutrition, nutrient-dense foods. But listen, you can tell me that you went to the doctor and they said, listen, I'm a little pre-diabetic. My lipids, my cholesterol is all over the place, and I got this metabolic thing going on. And I'm eating the Mediterranean diet, which is arguably one of the best diets. But there may be components of that diet that are not working for you and for your biochemistry and for your physiology. So it's nutrition, but it's nutrition for you. And that's why I love the food sensitivity testing. It tests 210 different foods or so. It tells me what you should be eating and what you should be avoiding. And you can tell me that you're eating salmon, great omega-3 fatty acids, great source of protein. The omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory. Well, it may not work for your biochemistry. And so what we need to do is we need to find that out. You could do what we call Zoomer testing, looking at wheat, corn, dairy, soy, poultry, so many different things, because you're running the panels too. And we get very specific with your diet. And we do what we call nutrient timing. So we look at your life, we look at your day. When's the best time to have a meal? Because you're doing something afterwards. What's your best time to have a nutrition shake? Because we're doing something afterwards, right? Maybe you're working out. And by doing the food sensitivity testing and putting your nutrition, I don't like the word diet, by putting that nutrition into play, that is a game changer. I hate using that because it's used so much today, but that is a game changer. So getting that food sensitivity test and getting those Zoomers taking a look at your lifestyle, tell me what you're eating. I want to do that diary. Excuse me. I want to see what you're eating. I want to see how many ultra processed foods you're eating and all of that stuff. 2016 study, corn, wheat, and soy, New England Journal of Medicine, if I'm not mistaken, came out and said corn, wheat, and soy in this country is being used as a filler in all processed foods, increasing HbA1c, which leads to, it's a marker for diabetes, high waist to hip ratio, diabetes, and all of that. So your nutrition is extremely important. The second thing is, and I'm really getting into this a lot lately, is your sleep. People don't know that if you can have the best diet in the world, and if you don't get restful, restorative sleep, your biochemistry is thrown off. So you can have the best nutritional diet, you can have that best nutrient, and if you're not sleeping in that restful, restorative state, it's not going to work.
When don't I see? Yeah, is that a Oura ring?
This is my Oura ring right here. So people that you and I know at the mastermind recommended I get this, and my sleep is getting a lot better. I'm waking up better. I'm waking up refreshed and relaxed, and I'm able to get into that. So sleep is extremely important. So number one is your nutrition.
What are some of the things that you've done to improve your sleep on your Oura ring?
So, I'm an Italian American guy from North Jersey. And whenever I say this, I always get, ribbed by my friends. So, we both know Sachin Patel, right? And he was the one initially who introduced me to the Oura ring. And he does breath work, right? And so he had sent me some videos and stuff for breath work. Breathing helps out, decreases stress. We're going to get into number 3 in a second. So breath work helps out. Journaling helps out. Meditation helps out. I have a monkey mind, and my monkey mind just goes. I told somebody not too long ago, a very special person to me, I said to them that I wake up in the morning and they're trying to get me, like Sachin is saying to me, spend a few minutes with yourself, go outside in nature, ground yourself, do some breath work, do a little meditation and so forth, because, I'm that type 10 personality, AAA personality, and I'm at it, and I'm at my computer if I'm doing reports or whatever the case may be. So breath work is important. Meditation is important. Getting out in nature. I love the beach. And I think that I've always felt good at the beach, and the ocean, the waves, the sand, that's just my thing. That's my jam. And I always was able to recharge. I used to call it recharging. So now I'm doing things during the day to recharge, right? My battery, instead of just going, because I find I have brain fog. I find that I'm not able to make decisions about my business at times. And, I've noticed that after 2:00 in the afternoon, if I don't take care of myself, that my decisions in business are not so good. So sleep is very important. And the third thing is, got to manage your stress.
Amen.
Insulin and cortisol is all over the place. Stress hormone is cortisol. Insulin's all over the place. You're stressed. You look for those foods that are sugary, maybe salty, and you crave them. And once you go, because when it comes to the nutrition, prepping your meal prep is very important, because if you don't, it's easy to go and get a donut or two and get a cup of coffee, and you put a little sugar in it, you put a little heavy cream in it, you get a couple of donuts, you get a bagel, a muffin, or whatever. And then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, once that is gone, once you're satisfied, now you need more. It's just like a drug. Now you need more. And that's what happened to me, because in that kitchen, could be 7 o'clock. There's 2 new patients that are waiting, because we used to go to 8, 9 o'clock back then. We were, like I said, we were serving humankind a lot. And there was a crumb cake. I love crumb cake back in those days. And I still salivate. It's a Pavlovian reaction, right? And I would go in, you get a cup of coffee. Sometimes you were so busy, you didn't even have enough time to look for the knife. You just ripped a piece off from the cake. You didn't even have enough time to put any cream or any sugar in. You just drank your coffee black, and you would scoff it down, as my mother used to say, scoff. I don't know if that's a real word, but you just, within two bites. Yeah, it was done. And then you felt good, and you were able to, finish your day out. And then you would go home at night, and you were hungry, and you didn't have a salad with some lean protein on there, some nice veggies or whatever. You pick up something on the way home, because that's just what you did back then.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge expression. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And that's like number one that I try to teach all my clients, is when they're doing this diet change or the nutrition change. I like that, because I don't like the word diet either. But you've got to plan ahead, and it's funny, because like I know a lot of mothers, especially, they'll plan for their kids to do this, and they plan for that, and they plan for this, and I'm like, it's just one more thing to plan for. Why wouldn't you plan for yourself? You are your most important investment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to have self-care. You have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family, in my opinion. Because lying in a hospital bed or lying in your own bed, not able to get up and being able to take care of your responsibilities is just not fun. I was going to leave chiropractic because here I am, a natural healthcare provider, and I felt like I don't know if you want to say loser, or I was a fraud. That was probably a better word, right? I was a fraud. And, here I am talking natural healthcare, and I couldn't see my toes, and so forth. So now we're taking it to the next level, and you could be at any age and take it to the next level. You can have abundant energy. We bring you from fear to hope, and we give you that hope that you can live a very, very full life. I have more passion for what I do today than I have ever had in my career. And that's a lot, because when I first got out of school, boy, was I ready to rock and roll. I have more of a passion for my son today than I've ever had. I have more passions for other things, other people, than I've ever had before in my entire life. I look forward to each day. It's an adventure. And I feel like I'm, as my nieces used to watch, Dora the Explorer. I'm kind of exploring life. I'm going and I'm exploring a lot of different things right now, and I'm enjoying that. I enjoy learning. I enjoy working out. So you can do this. It has nothing to do with not doing it. You can rock and roll in your life.
Absolutely. Amen. 100%. And how awesome that the 3 things that we talked about preventing a heart attack really, directly isn't talking about the heart. That's I think a big mistake that some of functional folks can get into. They can get kind of into that same allopathic doctor mode where it's one pill for every ill. And so, okay, for your heart, then you just need to take more omegas, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. But they're not still getting to the root cause of what's going on. And those 3 things that you listed, diet, sleep, and nutrition, ding, 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 ding. That's the root cause.
So a root cause creates, if you have inflammation, which is what a root cause, what you would look at, because you're looking at the same thing, brings down an inflammation. You don't know how it's going to manifest itself. It could be Lyme, it could be heart disease, it could be diabetes, it could be an autoimmune type of a condition. We don't know. And so I was with a patient last week, and they brought their blood work to me, and we ordered some new blood work. And yes, I did recommend CoQ10. I did recommend omega-3 fatty acids. I did
It's definitely
recommend.
got its place. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound that way. So thank you.
No,
for
no, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's
I
absolutely got its place.
understand. I
Yeah,
understand exactly what you're saying.
okay.
But what you and I do, and what makes it different is that we have a multifaceted, multi-pronged approach.
Absolutely.
It's just not that, because you and I know individuals, you come out with $5,000 worth of supplements and you're not looking at their lifestyle. And I tell my students, you cannot out supplement a bad diet. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. You cannot out supplement a bad lifestyle. So we look at you from a total approach. Do you need to go in for massage? Do you need to go in for meditation, breath work? You need to take better care of yourself nutritionally, and you need to take some of these fish oils that are good, and other different types of supplements. You need to detox your body.
Can I put you on the spot? Would you mind showing us one of your breath techniques that you've been learning?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I will give you a very simple breath technique. It's called box breathing.
That's my favorite.
Right? It's very simple, and it brings you from a sympathetic state where you're in fight or flight, you're ready to go, something happens, maybe you're in the office and something happens. We had some crazy stuff happen in the office last week. And so you could do this very simple technique, and you just sit up, or you're lying down on your back, feet are straight or flat on the floor, and you breathe in, and you have to make sure that you can breathe in for 4 or 2 or 3, wherever you're at. We have to meet you where you're at. Maybe you can only do 2, right? So I like to do 4 to 6 seconds. So you breathe in twice, for a count of 2. You hold it for a count of 2. You breathe out. Breathe in for a count of 2. You hold it for a count of 2. And then you breathe out for a count of 2. And you make a box with it so that it helps bring you from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. That parasympathetic state helps reduce that cortisol response. That's your stress hormone, brings down your heart rate, respiration to a normal level, pulse rate to a normal level. So I like to do box breathing, a very simple but yet very effective technique. We have to get Sachin on the show, because then
I've been chasing him for a while, and I actually got him to answer me like a week ago and said, let's set something up, and then it's gone crickets again. So he doesn't realize how tenacious I am. I'm not giving up. Like I'm coming after him. He's in my sights, and I'm gonna get him. But yeah,
I got your back. I got your back. We are going to be on each other's podcast again. And he asked me to be on his summit. So I got your back. Don't you worry.
Awesome. Thank you. And I love doing that box breathing right before I eat, because so many of us with our digestive issues, right? That's part of that rest and digest, part of that sympathetic nervous system. So if you can do that box breathing even 2, 3, 4 times right before you eat, really helps set your gut up for wins when it comes to digesting your food. So that's a huge hack.
And listen, you can listen, if you like being in nature, and you like being in the mountains. We have mountains here in New Jersey. If you like being on the beach, you could be sitting in a chair. You could just take a few minutes out and just recharge your batteries, and you'll feel a lot better. You'll think a lot more clear. You don't have that brain fog that's going on, and it's a great technique to use, no doubt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mr. Dan the Man, it was always so much fun. That's why I love having you on. And
thank you very much
talking with you
for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Even if you found one little piece of inspiring nugget in it, this is how we change people's lives. This is how people get better. This is how people get hope. So please make sure that you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're not going to want to miss it. And while you're at it, head to my website, thelimeboss.com, and make sure you download your free video series real cooking for real life. Learn amazing, delicious meals in 20 minutes or less. Learn why and how we cook certain things that are toxin-free, free of contaminants, and how to get a delicious, healthy meal under 20 minutes. You're not going to want to miss out. That's thelimeboss.com.